So before I start the review, like the video, subscribe, or whatever, who cares? So yeah, this is my review of AEW Collision for the May 11th show. Let's begin. So Collision has become the more wrestling-focused show, as I've noticed from the past weeks that I've been watching the full show. I can't say I like it more than Dynamite, since I prefer balance in everything, but I think Dynamite achieves the balance a lot much better than Collision does. I believe there's too much wrestling in this show. Blasphemy, I know, but yeah. There's just one too many squash matches. Like, did we really need to see Daniel Garcia out there tonight? That match was very Rampage worthy. I would have rather seen one of the matches on Rampage be moved to Collision. Specifically the Pac versus Johnny TV one. And did Robin Renegade really have to be here? That should have been moved to Rampage. And then the Dion match to here. Since Collision is supposed to be the more important show, right? And I believe Lady Frost is much better than Robin Renegade. Or you could have just put Penelope Ford here against Thunderosa. Same effect. Robin Renegade has potential but is not ready for the main shows. But yeah, that's my problem with the show as a whole. Let's get to reviewing each of the segments / matches. So yeah, the first match is Danielson and Claudio versus Top Flight. And this was a well-structured, elaborate match with a lot of combinations. Like moves would lead to moves, especially for Top Flight, since they wrestle more like one mind. And when the match breaks down, there seems to be a lot of organization in the whole thing. Like there's a part in the end where you have to replay the moment to fully understand what's happening. Things happen so fast, yet so perfectly that it just works. This was a really good showcase for Top Flight. They wrestled as underdogs who wrestle as one, as completely a team compared to the other team, who wrestle these two titans. Like two very strong singles workers who don't double team much, but can individually destroy each member of Top Flight one-on-one. May it be Darius, may it be Dante. And I also think Darius is finding his own thing. He's a lot more technical than Dante. He uses his high-flyingness for technical purposes. I like the wrestling exchanges that he has from the start. I've noticed that he's a lot better than Dante in doing these things. Dante's just a lot more aerodynamic. But yeah, in no way is Darius just a Matt Hardy. At some point in the match, it does start to feel like BCC are the teachers. They just beat on Top Flight and expect a lot more in their future encounters. Top Flight are by no means just spot monkeys in this match. They give as much physicality as they take from the BCC, but of course, the BCC are just too high of a power level to be beaten normally. So top spots of the match. Number 2 is the Tornado DDT by Darius. It's their usual staple move where Darius uses Dante's hand as a stepping point in order to propel him to kick the other guy. And then the top spot is where Dante jumps over Claudio and then directly gets Busai Kunid. The finish is a sick uppercut to Darius that he sells very well. It looks like the guy gets hit with a freight train. So this match is TV main event, pay-per-view undercard quality to start Collision off strong. And then after the match, we get Danielson's promo. What a ride or die guy. He declares for AEW and even gets Tony Khan over, which has been incredibly difficult after Tony Khan's antics for the past few months. It's a very AEW rah-rah sort of speech. That style is not unsimilar to the promos that he cut against MJF that I didn't quite like because they just went up and down and up and down and takes a long time to get to their points. But Danielson suits these types of promos better than trash-talking other people. He's a much better campaigner. This is what this promo sort of felt like. And like every Danielson promo, it's not that eloquent, but there's passion behind it, so that sort of makes up for it. Dude flubs a line, but it's okay. And so after this is the Will Osprey versus Lee Moriarty match. And my God, is Will Osprey over. He's so over and very aerodynamic. He's such a main event level dude. I love how the crowd chant Osprey, Osprey when it gets to that part of the song. It's a very well constructed wrestling song for people to chant to. Lee, on the other hand, is taking a more, progressive realization of his potential. He's developing a lot slower, but he looks like he'll get to maybe upper mid-card level in time. He's a really good dance partner for Osprey. Like, whenever they're actually wrestling, it's really good. But the interferences, man, I just could not. I appreciate the taunting by Strong, the shit he talks on commentary, but it's just too much. And shouldn't Taven and Bennett be facing off against Will instead of Lee and Shane Taylor Promotions, who are getting buried? Like, they're being side charactered here. We're a couple of weeks away from the pay-per-view, and you're having Will face off against side bosses who aren't even that much of a threat, like Shane Taylor Promotions. Like, that faction could use a bit more building up. I would be so disappointed if Osprey just takes out all the members of that faction. I'd rather have him face off against Taven or Bennett, who makes sense, or I guess that's how I book in my TW campaigns. He faces off against the faction members and then gets to the leader at the end. So since this has so many distractions and interferences, this is a storyteller. Yeah, definitely a storyteller. They don't go all the way. Osprey had like a day off here. He doesn't do all of his stuff, but I guess a guy needs to have a day off. I would have just appreciated it to like be more exciting than what we got here. And man, I know people call some of the flippy moves sort of like Cirque du Soleil, but I hate when we get like this like technical wrestling thing that turns into Cirque du Soleil. Like when they catch each other's abdomens with their feet. Like, you know the spot. Just let me show you these pictures. This was the worst part of the match, and I hate every time this happens. If you go technical wrestling, do it right. Just like in the Copeland versus OReilly match later. We get the storyline event of teasing the Tiger Driver, but Osprey pretty much has it in control. Since that move looks like the Stormbreaker, like the setup looks like the Stormbreaker, so he can use it to like scare off his opponents like Roderick Strong. That move is getting so protected. I just wish no one kicks out of it. The philosophy should be like with the 4 Pillars of Heaven, where the move that spikes their opponent on their head finishes them off. It's your ultimate move. It's your Burning Hammer, it's your Tiger Driver, and it's the Ganso Bomb. This is why I don't like when Brian Kendrick did this to someone, I forgot who, and dude kicks out of it. I think it was Kota Ibushi, I forgot. Top spots of the match are number 2, the Os Cutter to the Border City Stretch, and number 1, the elbow to the Stormbreaker where he stares down Rodri. Really good moment. But the match itself isn't as good as you would expect a Will Osprey match to be. So it's TV undercard, pay-per-view undercard. It's alright. Post-match beatdown is fun, but I wish this stayed with the Undisputed Kingdom and Will Osprey. This needed no Shane Taylor. So after this is the Mogul Embassy squash match, which barely had any heat. And I would blame the booking because they keep having these guys lose and they don't look like the team that loses. Bishop Khan has been taking pin after pin after pin. Come on, push these guys already. They beat the shit out of these guys so hard and it barely got any reaction. This was one of the better squash matches in my opinion. But at the end of the day, we have a squash match. So yeah, the interview after helped. Cage does have a point with Swerve basically using them as cannon fodder the entire time. He never gave them any proper support. Like, they barely won under him, so I mean, even I would beat the shit out of Swerve if that was happening to me. But Cage does enough for an okay promo. But the main highlight of this entire thing is Swerve just killing everyone. Like methodically taking out one by one the members of Mogul Embassy. It made him feel like the Swerve we had in the Hangman feud. Like dude after turning babyface has lost steam. Like he lost his teeth. It's like he became a generic babyface when he beat Samoa Joe, and now they found a way to get him back to what he was, but a good guy. And that's a pretty like cool babyface thing rather than like someone you're made to feel sorry of. That's why he's a babyface. Swerve is the cool babyface now after what he did. Of course, Bishop Khan gets the shit kicked out of him. He gets hung from the turnbuckle with a chain. Toa gets taken out, but he manages to get back some of his heat. Toa's so good. Like, I wouldn't even blame him if he decided to go to the WWE. Like, he would fit the bloodline so much. But I think he has potential in AEW. Dude is a killer. Like, he's as intimidating as Jacob Fatu. Like, just compare his appearance to a Solo Sikoa, who looks like a child compared to Jacob Fatu and Toa Leona. Just push these guys already. But yeah, very nice beatdown, and then we get Swerve's promo afterwards, after the next match we have here. He challenges Cage to a singles match, and with the time we have left in this feud, I think it's enough. I still think that Swerve barely escapes with his life in the next match, but he wins. And then Christian, of course, attacks him after, and we still have Christian coming out on top. Maybe until the next show. Like, we only have 2 more shows left until the pay-per-view, 2 more Dynamites. So this feud needs a lot more interaction between Swerve and Christian, and Swerve actually making good points. Let's wait and see. So after this is Daniel Garcia versus KM. So this isn't exactly a squash match, but it has the vibes of one. Like, KM is an unknown local competitor, and he's pretty green. And I don't appreciate him having any control against Daniel Garcia. Garcia should have just destroyed him right away based on their positions in the card. Instead, they booked based on size. Garcia was the undersized underdog here. And giving his opponent this much control would have been fine if the opponent was a bit more well-known. If you had a member of the Iron Savages here. But having just some random local competitor get the better of Garcia at some points isn't the way to push this guy. This match has a Rampage written all over it, and it definitely should have been there instead. So after this is Dax versus the new Dynamite Kid, Tommy Billington. I love the Rule Britannia song, even if it's a song about imperialism. It helps me get up in the morning. But yeah, this match does not make sense. Why is Dax, who's involved in a storyline with the Young Bucks, facing off against someone who's not even connected to that faction? For me, if you have a feud against someone and you have a month to build that feud, you should be having matches with people connected to, but not exactly those people you're feuding with. I'm glad that they make the next match with Dax be against Okada. That's going to be a banger. But I think Dax should have won against someone with more status in AEW. Facing off against a debuting talent or someone who's not very well known and having it be evenly matched doesn't help Dax much. He is protected with the selling of the injuries. I like how he sold falling down as he's getting back up in the ring, but maybe this match could have used being shorter. I don't think Dax was dominant enough to warrant a match against Okada next week. As for the Dynamite Kid, dude has the basics down. Very smooth looking moves. He played a nice underdog against Dax, who just stiffed him all the way. He's a bit rough with some of the moves. It looks very unpolished, that I quite like it. He did a clothesline that did not look like a clothesline. It was like a full body sort of press. And that suplex did not look like a suplex. He brought Dax up and then did not carry him over the other side for the fall. It's like he just threw him up and then Dax fell down, which did look good. I have to give him that. But yeah, dude is going on the right track. He's young. He's going to get better. He's going to get them reps. And I can say that he had a good debut. He's not a revelatory talent like Osprey. He's not as over as Hook, but I think Hook is a bit overrated. But he might be going in the trajectory of Lee Moriarty unless they push him. I hope he doesn't go the direction of Action Andretti, who's been on a downward spiral since he beat Jericho. But yeah, top spots of the match. The triple German suplex exchange spot. This was really cool. If this guy somehow gets the moveset of Name Redacted, or at least some of it, plus Dynamite Kids, of course, I would be satisfied if that were to happen. And then number 1 spot is that smooth-ass Shawn Michaels elbow. So yeah, the finish of the match, of course, Dax's finisher, the sit-down powerbomb for the win. So after this is the Elite segment, where each of them cut a promo. Okada challenges Dax, so I guess he's not a cowardly heel. He's never been a cowardly heel in his life. I like that they're portraying him more of a badass, where he doesn't need to wrestle a match. since his friends basically control the company, but he wants to. Jack Perry says a lot of nothing, but he says it well. And then the Bucks bully the shit out of Christopher Daniels, who can't takes it no more, and then cuts an impassioned promo against the Bucks. He still got it. Promo-wise, he still has it, but in-ring, not anymore. We're gonna get Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels against the Bucks next week. It's gonna be good. It's not gonna be as good as the past, though. Daniels is just too old, in my opinion. Dude would make a good manager, though, but they're having him working backstage, so I guess he's happy there, so occasional wrestler it is. And then after this is Dax's reply to Okada. It's nothing special, it's just a straight-to-the-point acceptance of a challenge. Blah, 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 I'm gonna win. Nothing much happened here. So after this is Thunderosa versus Robin Renegade. So this match is very Rampage-worthy, based on the quality as well as like the star power that is Robin Renegade. Penelope Ford, man. You still have Penelope Ford. Or I don't know, like the Bunny, Megan Bain, Queen Aminata, Billy Starks, Trisha Dora would have been better here. Robin has not reached like main show level yet. She's developmental for me. But the positives though, I like Robin's build. It's very conducive for like a muscular lady sort of build. Like she could have like a superstar build, but it takes time to work on, just like with the wrestling. She was a bit stiff in her movements. I like the reach advantage that she has, but she's not like polished enough in the ring as is. I don't like that she does rest holds a lot. Like, use that reach, jab, do strikes or something. The best thing she does in the match is like an elaborate reverse STO, as well as a double foot stomp. Thunder Rosa carries this match, she makes it watchable, and she shows why like she's one of the top women in the division. Finish is a mounted Cobra Clutch for the submission win. Nice to see people tap out, which more people should tap out. And she cuts a good promo at the end. I like her blending the Spanish with her English. It's like a Mexican mom, basically. Or it's like Eddie from those VR guys, those like VR gamers. Josh, Eddie, your narrator. You know those guys, like the ones that are featured in Facebook back in the day. But yeah, I love this promo by Thunder Rosa. Matches TV undercard is just not that good. After this is the Taya and Johnny promo where they challenge Pac. This is a very obnoxious heel promo, nauseating as well. But it's okay, I love the Van Losers line. I think at this point of his career, this is exactly where Johnny TV should be. And then after this is Hook's promo, which was simple. It's on the road to the eloquence that I like from promos. The lisp for now is a bit limiting, but Cody has a lisp and he's pretty good at promos. Just that he like repeats everything over and over again. Cody does. And Hook doesn't, so I hope he keeps that habit. Or doesn't build the habit that Cody does. And why would you wear your hat like that? Like, how the hell can Hook see? But yeah, enough of that. Let's get to the main event with Adam Copeland versus Kyle O'Reilly. So I did not know how over Kyle was. I didn't expect him to get as much of an ovation as he did. Like, the bigger stars did not get this much love in their hometowns. Like in this Canadian tour. Jericho, no. Christian, no. Kenny did. But he's like AEW's biggest star, their biggest babyface. But Kyle just like was like a hero for these people. He had a "This is awesome" chant to start. It's like this was a dream match of some sort. But as for the match itself, it was like a slow burn, limb targeting, heavy selling submission match. This was arguably as slow as the match Cope had with Buddy. But there was a lot more purpose in the moves here. Like in the match against Buddy, it didn't suit Buddy's style. He's more of like a high-speed sort of guy, so his moves are made to be that, but not done in the appropriate speed. But Kyle is like a submission dude. Does a lot of punches, does a lot of selling, and this suited him more, and the crowd loving him definitely helped. There's a chance that this might not go over as well in like another crowd, but I don't know, like for me, like if I watched this on silent, this was really cool. I love the opening headlock battle, where we had smooth transitions, smooth counters to stuff. I like when they attempt to like play 4D chess and they would anticipate the other's moves and it would eventually lead to Kyle O'Reilly getting a headlock again. Randy Orton, take pointers. You can be like a Hall of Famer, greatest of all time without being completely boring. And as I said earlier, The difference between this one and any other slow-ass match is the purpose in everything. O'Reilly targets the arms, and then Cope targets the abdomen. Cope's bucket list new spot of this match is a suplex lung blower, and it's gonna be number 3. I just love lung blowers. Number 2 spot of the match is Kyle O'Reilly making rebounds look cool. Like, I hate rebounds. I hate when Mox does it. I hate when Kyle does it. And just imagine when they both do it on each other. And Phoenix does this the worst. He has the worst rebound move ever. Because it takes too long and your opponent just waits there. One of the rebounds is a clothesline. That's just an honorable mention for me. But the better rebound is the one where he rebounds and then Cope prepares for a spear, does the spear, Kyle leapfrogs on top of it, and then does a roll up. And then the number 1 spot of the match, the best story moment of this entire thing, is when Kyle falls down after we get a liver shot from Cope. And then Kyle counters the spear into a guillotine choke. It was amazing. That popped the crowd so hard. And so the finish is an Impaler DDT, spear for the win. This match is a pay-per-view undercard match. I think I liked it better than the match against King. It's on the same level for now, but yeah, I mean, that match had to resort to no DQ. This one was just a plain wrestling match, and I think I enjoyed this one more. So yeah, above average episode of Collision. It has some stuff that I would have rather not had on the show, but the good parts outweigh the bad. Overall, Cope is MVP for AEW this week. So yeah, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.